Welcome to Yeshua Kids Garden.
This freedom of information, you said that it has been passed into law that people can come out and then, voice their opinions and everything. Haven't there been any records where people would come out to voice their opinions and there has been a massacre of people? I can see people have died daily numbers of people's deaths just because they came out to protest. Now my question, I've asked the first question, haven't you seen that kind of thing happen? And then the second question, since you said it's freedom of information, is it really freedom of information?
Well, half a bird will say is better than none, right? So in the event whereby someone comes out or a group of people come out and give out any important information to the public, and then they get scolded. Of course, if you take that to court, the court can leverage on the fact that, hey, come on, we don't have any law protecting you or protecting the information you've given. So the court might you might not likely get any justice. But where you have a law that's been passed by the National Assembly and then it becomes a law, Freedom of Information Act, and then you give out information, irrespective of the harm that might come to you, you can still be confident that somehow you could still get justice.
Hello and welcome to YKG Contest, and today we're here with two contestants, and the topic for today, which we're going to be debating, is more so titled, what are the best ways to address corruption in Nigeria's public and private sectors? So before we continue, I'm sure that you have been fully briefed on the group and as regards the rules of the games and on the game itself, or I would say the competition itself, and also the debate. So if I'm sure that it's clear enough. So before we get into the debate itself, I would like for you to kindly introduce yourselves to the audience, and I would like to start with the Mr. on the, I would say, on the right, on my right, please. Can you kindly introduce yourself? Thank you.
Okay, my name is Brian Echebiri.
Okay, so can you tell us a bit more about yourself? Just to have some more like a good bio of you. Yes.
Okay, well, I'm a typical Nigerian. I hail from the eastern part of Nigeria, precisely Imo State. So I have my first degree. I don't know if that is necessary. I have my first degree in business administration and then a professional course in health and safety.
Okay, so thank you very much. I think that would suffice for now. So thank you and welcome to the program. So Miss Victory, you've been here with us. You actually won the last competition. So would you, just for the sake of protocol, could you kindly give a similar introduction of yourself? Thank you.
Okay, so I'm Miss Victory. I'm a Chi Michael. I'm a nursing student and a resident artist. So I'm glad to have you all on the platform. Welcome.
All right, perfect. So thank you for your introductions, and we're just going to state the topic once again. And as usual, you're going to have 4 minutes for your opening statements. Okay. So the topic is just for the sake of our audience is what are the best ways to address corruption in Nigeria's public and private sectors? So I would ask you, Miss Victory, if you can kindly give us your opening statement and your position, please.
Okay, all right. Um, the topic for the day, which was the best way to address corruption in Nigerians' public and private sector. For the first thing, I would like to point out the very first, is that the government should employ or should appoint credible, honest persons, people that are capable, people that are honest enough to take the position in both the public and private sectors, like the NDDC, the NNPC. They should be credible enough and trustworthy, just so that the amount of corruption that we've noticed in the system can reduce. These are one of the very best ways that we can address corruption. For the second thing, I would like to point out there should be feedback mechanism. When these people get into, always be a feedback mechanism. Let them come back and tell us what have they done, what have they done so far throughout their entire tenure. It should also be made public. That is another important fact. Apart from the fact that there should be feedback mechanism, the public should know about it. And the third thing I would like to talk about, another point I would like to say would be used to address corruption, is the wrong persons should be prosecuted. The people who fail in the system, those that end up taking bribes, those that end up doing things that they're not supposed to do, should be properly prosecuted, no matter the position they're in, no matter their influence or their political position. They should be brought down and they should be taken according to the law. They should be prosecuted accordingly. And for the very last, I would say, it can be used to address corruption in Nigeria. The executive, judiciary, legislature, almost all of the institutions in Nigeria should function independently. They should be allowed to function independently. So we are not having political interference. The government is saying something about a particular institution. They're using what they have. They're using their influence, to disrupt the activities of these various institutions. So this is one of the ways whereby we can address corruption in Nigeria. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So I actually took note of your time manually because I was trying to set up the timer. So it was 4 minutes, I would say 3 minutes and a few seconds to be exact. So thank you for that introduction. And so I'm going to give you, Mr. Brian, a time for your own opening arguments and opening, I would say, your position as regards the subject. So your time starts now.
Yeah, so talking about corruption in Nigeria, everyone is well aware of the fact that, this has eaten deeply into the very fabric of our nation. So, and looking at it, it's not as if we do not have rules and regulations, governing, our country, but it's as a result of way individuals, citizens not, taking adequate steps or being conscious of the fact that there is need for us not to involve ourselves in any corrupt practices. So, and I would say that going to our schools, there is need for us to create and expand ethical educational programs. I would say we should catch them young. Going to our primary schools, our secondary schools, where we need to incorporate some very vital tools or programs that talks about, anti-corruption, change mantra, whereby as little as they are our kids, they will begin to understand, the meaning of, not involving themselves in any form of corrupt practices. And then the other thing has to do is, I should talk about is, in the foreign countries, taking a major part in, let me say, not, how do I put it right now? Not participating or or aiding our politicians in their corrupt practices. Now, if our politicians happen to be culpable in any of these corrupt practices, they can always, give them a visa ban, just contribute, just give them any meaningful penalty that will deter these politicians, from continuing in these corrupt practices. So this will be my opening remark. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I must mention that I failed to state the fact that if at any moment in time you go above your time, there would be a penalty. So obviously that wouldn't count at this very point because I failed to set up the timer at the beginning. But just moving forward, the time you were allotted should be respected. Okay, so thank you so much for your opening questions. And so now we're moving on to the second phase of the debate, which is, I would say, the moderator questions. Okay. These questions you were given well beforehand to prepare. And so the first question goes, number one, what specific actions have been most effective in reducing corruption in Nigeria's public sector and why? So I'm sure there have been many people beforehand and those with a meaningful intent to try and resolve this problem because it's been a long-standing issue in Nigeria. So to respond to that question, I would like to start with you, Mr. Brian. So for this section, you have about 2 minutes to respond to this question. So I will take the question again. What specific action or actions precisely have been most effective in reducing corruption in Nigeria's public sector and why?
Yeah, there have been some measures that have been taken by the government. Some of these measures, I would say, are establishing of some anti-corrupt parastatals. Let me use that word, like the ICPC, like the EFC. All these anti-corruption departments. I also would say, the whistleblower enactment, which I think it hasn't really been a law, something like that. And then strengthening the what I would say the code of conduct bureau, and then also establishing I think a special court, that handles corrupt practices. Because when you come to Nigeria, some of these corrupt cases, it takes a long time before anyone can even get a justice because we don't even have special courts to handle it. And some of these, cases in court, linger for a long time. So all these anti-corruption departments have been established by the government, are veritable departments that the government have established to tackle some of these corrupt practices in Nigeria. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so it's time for you, Miss Victory. The same question goes to you. Would you like me to take it again?
Yes, please take the question again.
All right, so the question is, what specific actions have been most effective in reducing corruption in Nigeria's public sector and why? So you have 2 minutes to respond to the question.
All right. The specific actions that have been taken by the government, I would say, is the EFCC, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. If we can remember, in 1990.
I think we have an issue with your audio there. Can you hear me?
Yes, of course, I can hear you.
Perfect. So I'm just going to add an extra 30 seconds to your time. So go ahead, please.
So the specific actions that have been taken is the EFCC, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. As at 1999 to 2003, when Chief Olusegun Obasanjo was still the president, we had the EFCC strongly working to combat corruption. But I can't say that the state it was back then is still now.
There seems to be a problem with your audio. It seems to be going in and out. Can you hear me? Yes, it's fine. Do you have any device plugged into your or connected to your phone?
No, I do not have.
All right,
I
so
do not have any device.
Just pick up from where you left off. Okay, so you were speaking about the last president. So just pick up from there, please.
So I'm saying that the situation as of back then, the way EFCC combated crime is not the same as today. I'm saying that the specific actions that have been taken were taken by the EFCC, but as of now, the state is not the same. Another specific action that has been taken is before a person is put into seats, they are asked to talk about what assets they have. So the public can know, this person, as you've entered seat, how come you're having this amount in your account? How come? So everyone can know where you've started from. And then if there are any changes at the end of the day, we can take note of that. Thank you.
All right, so thank you for that. Hopefully these disruptions don't occur again. Okay, so the next question I have for you, and this question, Miss Victory, you'll be starting first. How can Nigeria's anti-corruption agencies improve their effectiveness and public trust? So you have 2 minutes to respond to this question.
Okay, how they can improve their effectiveness? The first thing is transparency. I will always say this: wherever you are, whatever position you hold as a leader, you must be transparent. You must be accountable for anything that you've done, whether there's any investigation about any political interference or anything that has been done wrongly in the society. There should be transparency. And then the second thing is independence from political control. If the politicians and the ministers do not have control over these crime commission agencies and all these agencies that help to put things in place, then we notice that everything that is going wrong in the society is being put on the curb. Is not put under the curb, sorry, because when the EFCC is being controlled by the politicians and the people in power, you see that they're not doing what they're supposed to do. Everything that they have to do, they're going sideways and not doing what they're supposed to do. So they should be independent from political control. Another thing I would like to point that is really, really important is the publishing of annual performance reports. There should be a steady publishment of the performance of the EFCC and all those other institutions that help to put in place or fight against corruption. I think these are the points that I have to talk about. Thank you.
All right, so thank you so much for your response. So, Mr. Brian, the same question goes to you. So I will take the question again just for the sake of clarity. All right, so how can Nigeria's anti-corruption agencies improve their effectiveness and public trust? And for this question, as we had with Miss Victory, you have 2 minutes.
Hey, look, these days, where economy just they fail. Come with Sapa way, no fit explain. You get brand where they sell, we go pay. We go pay, go pay, go hey, pay. Look, info, Leon Finfo, follow me, go, may we get money. Make you call your amigos, free membership, sign up quick, and no they carry body. If you buy, if you sell for this website, no commission, no cost for this website. But cool sellers, we go give you good price. And if you know like I'm go the next guy. Hey, no middleman, we go try take your money, they do your thing on a solo. If you find anything, if you sharply buy for any location, wait there, so my manana, distress sales. My manana, distress sales. Distress sales.net. Distress sales.net. Distress sales.net. Distress sales.net.
Everybody just they dance, they smile for here, man. Like say things they share for this website. Let me go check out this website, man.
Thank you very much. So improving the effectiveness, of course, is simply by these people they need to obey the rule of law. Of course, we have rules and regulations, and to improve the effectiveness, they all have to obey the rule of law. And obeying the rule of law, of course, one of the major challenges is, when you talk about, bribery, bribes, as a result of poverty, money exchanging hands, so, another thing is, this public awareness of having some programs that talk about that speak against corruption, because oftentimes you find out that some of these politicians, even our officers, who do not even understand the reason why we are even speaking against corruption. So if they can have some very important programs that does not condone bribery, that talks about rule of law, that even exposes them to understand the need for them to fight against corruption, I think that will go a long way in having this fight being effective. Thank you.
All right, so thank you very much. So I'm just going to stop your timer. Okay, so we're moving on to the next question. And the question is, and for this question, Mr. Brian, you'll be going first. So, what role does political leadership play in either enabling or combating corruption? For this question, as before, you have 2 minutes to respond.
Okay, for this politician, of course, one of the things they do whereby they enable corruption, if that's the question, of course, is bribery and corruption. When they take bribes, when they, sweep certain things that happen under the carpet by not taking charge, by not allowing the rule of law, to proceed over their own selfish interest. So if they can allow the rule of law to prevail over their own selfish interest, then that would suffice to say that they are playing a major role in combating crime. And then, of course, if they do not condone illegality, that will suffice to say that they are playing a major role in making sure that in driving that mantra of fighting corruption. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So the question goes, it's the same for you, Miss Victory. Would you like me to take that again, or did you catch it the first time?
No, please repeat it again. Let me.
All right. So the question is, what role does political leadership play in either enabling or combating corruption? And for this question, as Mr. Brian, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, so what are the rules that the government has? What are the rules that these people have to fight or combat against corruption? The first thing I would say that they have a rule is accountability. They must be accountable. That is one rule the government plays. That is one rule that all of these institutions that have been put in place to fight against corruption, they have. This is one of the rules that they have, to be accountable for every single operation that they go on. The second is transparency. If there is transparency, we will not have the Crimes Commission and other people in place of taking charge of removing corruption. We will not have them favoring one person over the other or taking this person over the other. One person has done wrong just because there's familiarity between you and that person, or maybe even is interfered by politics. Maybe that person is related to a politician or a minister. Because of that reason, they don't take the appropriate action. So one of the rules they have is transparency. And another thing, one of the rules that they also have is to prosecute allies. There are people even in their system that are having bribes, and they have bribery and corruption in between them. So if they are bold enough to come out and not protect the allies, the people that are, conniving in between the system, we can see that everything will go well. We will not see any corruption again. Thank you so much.
All right, so thank you for that. You have both responded wonderfully. All right, so let's move on to the fourth question now. So the fourth question, which I'll be starting with you, Miss Victory. How can technology and digital platforms be leveraged to increase transparency and reduce opportunities for corruption? And as before, you have 2 minutes to respond to this question.
Very wonderful question, because in this country, everybody is doing their things face to face. We are having manual documents. There should be e-governance. You don't want to hear familiarity because you know this person, you guys see face to face. There is an
So there seems to be a problem with your...
for everybody to do what they want to do, because there is no Yeah, thank you.
Oh, you have a problem with
Can you hear me?
with your
Can you hear me?
network. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, of course I can. I can
All
hear
right.
you.
So I'm going to give you an extra 30 minutes. Hopefully there are no further disruptions. 30 seconds, sorry.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
So I said there should be a use of e-governance, okay? Instead of the face-to-face polls, we have people come, they put the paper into the ballot boxes, they write, they do manual work. There should be technologies to make sure that all these things, are passed in place. There should be online complaint platforms for, the the people that are, because it's the people that vote the leaders in. So if they have a problem with the leaders, there should be an avenue by which they can express themselves. Why I'm saying e-governance is because you see this face-to-face thing where there's a meeting or there's an election and then people just gather in a place or they line up. They use papers to vote. They use this to vote. All those ones are manual ways of, activities that go on in the country. If
Sorry. So I think your audio went off there. Can you hear me?
Yes, of course I
All
can.
right. So just pick up from let's say 2 seconds ago. Can you pick up from there, please?
Yes, yes, I can. So I said if there's a technology that has been put in place, the way the system has been set, that is the way to follow. The system will not cheat or corrupt because it is technology and it is the way you have programmed the system to be. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. So I'm gonna stop your timer. So, Mr. Brand, the same question goes to you. So, since it was such a lengthy explanation, I'm just going to take the question one more time. So, the question is, how can technology and digital platforms be leveraged to increase transparency and reduce opportunities for corruption? So, as before, you have 2 minutes. Your time starts now.
Yeah, so having technology, is going to play a very major part in reducing any form of corruption in our system. I'll give an example. The e-passport, before the e-passport was implemented, I think that was the last government. One would have to go to the immigration center and then you do your thing manually, and then definitely money is going to exchange hands for you to get your passport. But upon the the enactment of the e-passport, you could actually get your passport you could do your registration right from the comfort of your home without even necessarily going all the way down to the offices. And then you don't have to pay anybody, you don't have to know anybody to get your passport. So that has drastically reduced any form of corrupt practices. It's not as if it's going to eliminate it completely, but definitely the high volume of corruption in that area would have been curtailed, significantly. Thank you.
All right. So, thank you for your time. Next question, which will be responded by you, Mr. Bryan, is what are the biggest challenges to enforcing anti-corruption laws in both the public and private sectors? So you have 2 minutes to respond to that, Mr. Bryan.
Yeah, there are lots of challenges. One challenge I would say is the lack of willpower from politicians and leaders to exercise or allow the rule of law to proceed over their own selfish interests. Another thing is greed and then poverty. So of course, Nigeria is still a very poor nation, and most of the citizens, are poor. So this, is a kind of a tool, to get anybody to do anything that is not right. So these three, factors that I've mentioned are, some of the tools, that are breeding grounds for corruption. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So this question is over to you as well, Miss Victory. I'm going to take the question again. What are the biggest challenges to enforcing anti-corruption laws in both the public and private sectors?
Okay, so one of the challenges I will always talk about or I will pinpoint is weak judicial system. Weak judicial systems political interference. You see, in the system where something is supposed to take place, and then the government or the house, the president or the government, they are interfering in what is supposed to be. The institutions, they have a normal way to process their, their events and process the way things are supposed to be done. But when all these things are halted,
Go ahead, please.
Okay. So I said the first thing is weak judicial system, and the next is political interference, where a situation where something is supposed to happen in a particular institution, and that thing doesn't happen because there's interference from the government. There's corruption in the system because the politicians, the ministers, they are interfering. Now, I'll give you an example. In my state, Rivers State, our governor has been suspended. Now, there is nothing in the law that says that a president can suspend a governor. There are only 3 ways by which a governor can step down from the state. The first is either the governor is dead, or the governor has been impeached, or the governor resigned. In as much as you can call a state of emergency, there is no way you have the right to remove a governor from the place. So you see political interference in play. This is one of the challenges that we have. Thank you very much.
All right, so thank you for that. So I'm just going to stop your timer. All right, so thank you. We're moving on to the next question. And for this question, Miss Victory, I'll be starting with you. So the question is, how does corruption affect marginalized groups such as the poor, youths, and persons with disabilities? And what targeted interventions are needed? Okay, so you have 2 minutes to respond to this question. Thank you.
Okay, first of all, it limits access to quality healthcare. There is no employment. It causes extreme poverty. As you can see, the state of the country is in ruins. There are people on the streets that are homeless. They don't have food to eat. This is as a result of the budgets that they've allocated, not going to its proper allocation. Probably there has been corruption in the system, and these things that they've allocated doesn't reach the right consumers. There's limited access to quality education. You see, people are not being properly educated. People are dropped out from school, primary school, secondary school. There are several ways by which we can curtail this. Appropriate feedback mechanism after budgeting. There should always be appropriate feedback. Let us know what you people have used the money to do. Let's know how far the money has gone for the country. Another thing is monitoring initiatives. When everything that has been planned is being monitored, it's just like when you set in a plan, maybe a study plan. You said, okay, I want to read about 5 or 4 courses today. You're reading these courses. Now you're going to have to follow it carefully. Am I properly covering all the courses I'm supposed to read? This is just an example. Whatever they have put in place to follow, to set in the country, they should bring up initiatives that can properly monitor the processes that they are taking. So we'll now hear stories at the end of the day that, okay, they gave you this amount of money to make sure that this is put into place. And what happens at the end of the day? That thing has not yet been handled, or that thing has not yet been properly visited. Okay, thank you.
All right, so thank you so much, Mr. Brian. The same question goes to you. Would you like me to take the question again, or did you catch it the first time?
I have the question. So, this corruption of a thing, has, so many branches. So it definitely is going to affect a whole lot of things. So definitely, if you have an environment that is so much corrupt, definitely, let's say if the federal government disburses some funds that is meant to be, for a particular use, for a particular development, or for a particular goal. So because of corruption, definitely that fund is going to get diverted. So, and once funds are diverted, definitely the health sector, the educational sector, almost all sectors in the country will definitely be impacted by, the corrupt practices of these individuals. So that is the negative effect of the corrupt practices in this country. Thank you.
All right. So, now, so we're going to take a moment break. So we're done with the, we'll say the interviewer questions, also the moderator questions. So I'm going to take a quick break. So you're going to take 5 minutes. So we're going to bow out of the meeting. You take 5 minutes, and I'm going to ask you to come back after 5 minutes. So the goal of this next segment is for you to counter all the arguments your opponent will put forth. So this will be done in 2 parts. A question will be posed, and then you would have to counter. So for each question responded by the opponent, you have to find a counter or have a question for the opponent that challenges his or her views on the subject. All right. So we're done with this phase. I would ask you to kindly leave the meeting and reconnect after 5 minutes. Thank you.
Hey, look, these days, where economy just they fail. Come with Sapa way, no fit explain. You get brand where they sell, we go pay. We go pay, go pay, go hey, pay. Look, info, Leon Finfo, follow me, go, may we get money. Make you call your amigos, free membership, sign up quick, and no they carry body. If you buy, if you sell for this website, no commission, no cost for this website. But cool sellers, we go give you good price. And if you know like I'm go the next guy. Hey, no middleman, we go try take your money, they do your thing on a solo. If you find anything, if you sharply buy for any location, where you there, so my manana, distress sales. My manana, distress sales. Distress sales.net. Distress sales.net. Distress sales.net. Distress sales.net.
Everybody just they dance, they smile for here, man. Be like say things they share for this website. Maybe go check out this website, man.
Thank you. Welcome back. The next phase is I'm gonna be asking one of you a question. So we have 2 questions, and the objective of this phase will be to for the opponent to counter the proposed solutions by each person. Okay, so I don't know if that is understood, or you would like me to explain that again. Is that good for everyone?
Yeah, it's okay.
Perfect. Okay, so let's move forward. The first question goes to you, Miss Victory. So what lessons can Nigeria learn from other countries that have successfully reduced corruption? So just a quick explanation. So Mr. Brian, you would have to take note of what she's saying, because your objective at this point in time will be to counter what she's saying. All right, so as before, you have 2 minutes to respond to this question. Okay, so your time starts now, Miss Victory.
All right. So, what lessons I would want Nigeria to learn from other successful countries? Although there's one thing I would like to pinpoint. Though there are successful countries that have combated corruption, they haven't combated corruption down to the last. We can say that there are different countries that have done well in different sectors, but they also have those sectors where they're not doing well. But if there are 2 or one thing I would want Nigeria to learn, basically from Rwanda and Singapore, is the first thing is learning to enforce law. The law should not work in favor of one particular kind of people and leaving the other kind of people away from what they have said. So there should be equality. If the law is going to prosecute this one person for this particular activity, it should prosecute everybody at once. If everybody does that particular thing, they should be prosecuted for that same reason. Another thing I would want Nigeria to learn from other successful countries that have managed to make sure that corruption is curtailed in the country is quick judicial processes. We don't want to be having too much political interference in different institutions. When somebody wants be in favor of the people. You're seeing that the politicians or the people in the government are always interfering with those processes. Things are not going as they're supposed to go straightforward. There's always breakage. It should be straightforward. Any processes that are going to be carried out should be straightforward. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I hope, Mr. Brian, you were able to take some notes. So you're gonna be having a 5 minutes open discussion. So it's gonna be from starting with you, Mr. Brian, to state if you have any clarifications you would like to ask Miss Victory, sorry, on any contestations you have as regards what she has put forward, and of course, Miss Victory, you're going to have a chance to respond to that. So, Mr. Brian, the floor is open to you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, Miss Victory. Anyway, you will that was very good though, but you will agree with me that no matter what any country does, corruption will still be very much prevail, in the system. I'll take US for example. US being the superpower, US, having all the might in terms of having so many, anti-corruption rules. You still find out that there are still a whole lot of their politicians still found guilty of some corrupt issues. So you would agree with me that no matter what, the rules and regulations of a country, that corruption will still be very much pervasive in that country.
All right. So, do you have a counter for that, Miss Victory? So it's an open argument, or would you like to counter that and add to what you've actually said in the past or previously? Sorry, Miss Victory, you there? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Miss Victory? Hello.
I said I didn't hear what you said. I didn't hear what you said.
Okay, you didn't hear what I said, or you didn't hear what Mr. Brian said?
I didn't hear what you said. I heard Mr. Brian.
Okay,
I didn't hear.
So what I was asking is for if you have any counter to what he says. Okay, so he stated his objections. I would say he's added his own piece to what you said. Do you have anything to add to that as a counter to justify your arguments?
Okay, so according to what he said, Mr. Brian, you said that as I already knew, that no matter what one can do, the country will still remain in corruption. There will still be, evidence of corruption. Now, let me explain why I used Rwanda as an example. Rwanda is a strong example for Nigeria. A very important fact is their president, President Paul. He has a zero tolerance for corruption. So the lesson that Nigeria should take from Rwanda is that leadership should be consistent. Leadership should be firm. I must not prosecute only those that they deem fit for prosecution. They should prosecute anybody that is supposed to be prosecuted. Another thing is their justice system. The judicial system in Rwanda is very, very nice. There is no way you can compare the judicial system in Rwanda and Nigeria. But why I use Rwanda as an example is because they are a model for the slow pace of justice in Nigeria allows corrupt officials to escape punishment. So Nigeria should be able to create a dedicated anti-corruption commissions or institutions that can cut with strict timelines, that can put in place the things that are supposed to put in place. So we can't be seeing all this evidence of corruption around. In as much as you say that there is no way that corruption can be completely curtailed, I would say that Rome was not built in a day. Rwanda was not built in a day. It takes steps. It's a step-by-step process. So the more you try to combat it and the more you have more honest people around, you see that eventually everything will come to place. Everything will fall in place. Thank you very much.
All right. So, Mr. Brian, do you have a comeback for that? Just we have 2 minutes. Do you have anything to say as regards what she's added to our arguments?
No, nothing else.
All right. Perfect. So, thank you, Miss Victory. The next question, so I'm just going to stop the timer here. The next question is for you, Mr. Brian, and Miss Victory. You will be as it was given to Mr. Brian to actually add to what or contest what you said. You also would have that opportunity. Okay, so the next question is, and it's for Mr. Brian: how can civil societies and media contributes to holding both public and private sector actors accountable?
Okay, thank you for the question. In my opinion, this can happen if there is engagement of the citizens, if there is what I would say advocacy, you know, monitoring, yeah, monitoring government activities, and maybe I would say leveraging on legal frameworks like how you say the Freedom of Information Act. Like previously, there wasn't any act called the Freedom of Information where people were just scared of giving out information. But with this act, this will help, this can be leveraged on. So we can also promote transparency and accountability in government spending and service delivery by conducting maybe let's say audits and publishing findings. That's my opinion. Thank you.
All right, so thank you for that. Miss Victory, do you have anything to add? Do you feel there's anywhere the argument or the statement may be lacking? What additions can you give, or what contestations can you make on as regards what he's just said? So the floor is yours, Miss Victory.
Okay, so I wanted to ask him, what do you mean by freedom of information? What do you said freedom of information from, if I'm saying what you said correctly, freedom of information. What do you mean by freedom of information from the people?
Okay, so previously we didn't have any act where it was a law where you could actually come out freely in public and you give out some information back then, but now I think that was during the time of is it good luck Jonathan? I can't remember now the president that signed the act whereby it now became a law whereby any citizen could actually give out very important information without any backlash from anyone. That's just what I meant by freedom of information.
Okay, I have something else to say. So I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you a question. This freedom of information, you said that it has been passed into law that people can come out and then voice their opinions and everything. Haven't there been any records where people would come out to voice their opinions and there has been a massacre of people? I can see people have died daily numbers of people's deaths just because they came out to protest. Now my question, I've asked the first question, haven't you seen that kind of thing happen? And then the second question, since you said it's freedom of information, is it really freedom of information?
Well, have a bird will say it's better than none, right? So in the event whereby someone comes out or a group of people come out and give out any important information to the public, and then they get scolded. Of course, if you take that to court, the court can leverage on the fact that, hey, come on, we don't have any law protecting you or protecting the information you've given. So the court you might not likely get any justice. But where you have a law that's been passed by the National Assembly and then it becomes a law, Freedom of Information Act, and then you give out information, irrespective of the harm that might come to you, you can still be confident that somehow you could still get justice, unlike when that act when it's not even a law. That's my point. I don't know what's your other question. Sorry.
No. I don't have any questions about the just talked about. But from what you've just said, you included the court of law, the Supreme Court, and all of that. Now I would like to just remind you about something. When a case was taken to the court about in 2023 about the election between the Labour Party and APC, where we were talking about Tinubu and Atiku and P2B. We were just generally talking about the election results. Now, isn't it that same Supreme Court that ruled in favor of what was not supposed to be? Since you're saying that the law has been passed into bill, the law has been passed into bill, yes. But is there still no, as per law, justice? There's no justice at all, even with the law that has.
Okay, so what you have just given now is totally different from the act, the Freedom of Information Act. Now, in the case of Tinubu, Obi, and Atiku, that was clearly, an election matter, which if there was any issue, that should be, taken to the electoral body to figure out. And of course, this has to do with an election. So whereby evidence, linking Obi to have won the election has been um, has been taken off. You don't have any evidence linking him to have won the election. So what's going to happen? You don't have any basis for a fight. So that Freedom of Information Act is basically, it protects it protects people, the citizens, even whistleblower. Unlike before, if you come out and give out an information, that information may not even be seen as credible. You may not even have any protection. In as much as, you might have some scolding, but at least with that act, you still have some level of protection, even when the case eventually goes to the court. So the case of Tinubu and Obi, that is clearly an electoral matter, which, everybody might think that Obi won, and then the Supreme Court now gave the presidency to Tinubu, but there was no any clear evidence. That is what the courts ruled based on the evidence available. We know that Nigeria is very, very corrupt, but of course, if you're in power, you have access to changing whatever you want to change. Concealing evidence. So definitely, if you conceal evidence, then the Supreme Court will have no other ruling than to rule in favor of what is on ground. Thank you.
At least now you've said it, that if you're in power, you have the ability to change anything that happens. And what gives you the idea that the evidence was not tampered with? What gives you the idea that the evidence was not changed? Now, I would like to say something. I would like to say something from what you said. I beg to differ that electoral matters is different from what we're talking about, because it's still the same corruption thing we're talking about. And in electoral matters, it is the people that are voting. It is the people that are voting these people into power. Their opinions matter. What they say matters. If they don't say anything, that's not freedom of information. If they don't get the right ways whereby they should vote, the right ways whereby they should, that's also not freedom of information. So there's no difference between the electoral ineffectiveness at that time in 2023 and now. The same issues this is what we're talking about. There's no difference between the both of them. Then when you say that there's no similarity between what happened back then and now, is an electoral issue. The Supreme Court, the past, it is what we have heard from the Supreme Court. See, there's one thing that we should know. There is always political interference in whatever thing that has been passed in Nigeria. Nobody should deceive anybody. Anything that happens, any information that we get, most of them are always influenced by the politicians, by the ministers, by the people in power. You will not get the right information because people are in power there, influencing the decisions that the Supreme Courts are making, influencing the decisions that the National Assembly is making. I remember giving an example of my state. My governor was suspended by the president. There is no way in the rule of law that happens. So you see that there's political interference. There is no difference between an electoral issue back then in 2023, where the results were passed in favor of someone that it wasn't even supposed to pass in favor of. Okay, Thank you.
I'm just gonna so the time I've given a lot of extra time because I see there was a lot of going on back and forth. So just for the sake of time, we're going to sorry to have to cut you short there. We're going to have to move on to the next question, and the question would be for you, Miss Victory. So I wish we could continue, but unfortunately we have very little time. All right, so let's get to it. So of course, Mr. Brian, you will have the opportunity to tackle, make your additions, and if you have any contestations, of course, please feel free. So, Miss Victory, this question is for you. What is the impact of selective prosecution and political interference on Nigeria's fight against corruption? So let's just fix this at I think I'm going to increase the time since it's a bit let's make that 7 minutes. Okay, so you have 7 minutes. It's not 7 minutes distributed between the both of you, and of course, Mr. Victory, Miss Victory, you can start to respond to that, please. Thank you.
Okay, so please go to the question again.
All right, so let me just pause the timer. So the question is, what is the impact of selective prosecution and political interference on Nigeria's fight against corruption. Good?
Okay.
All right.
So before we talk about the impact of selective prosecution and political interference in Nigerians' whatever system, we have to understand what selective prosecution is. This is the case whereby your child is in school and other people's children are in school. And because he's my child, I will not give him the answers to my exam questions just because he's my child. And then the other people that are there, I do not give them because they are not my children. This is what happens. They are being selective in who they prosecute. Just because this person has political influence in the society, just because the person is related to this person or that person, there is political interference everywhere in whatever forms of prosecution. Okay, take for instance the example of Senator Opabio. That is our Senate president now. You know, he was the former governor of Akwa Ibom State. That election that they carried out was never in favor of him. They carried this matter to the Supreme Court and they ruled it in favor of him. And he became the Senate president. But imagine that, I've forgotten the professor, what election that happened. And then they took him to the Supreme Court, and then they said that he is in fault of rigging of election, and because of this, he will be prosecuted. Why did they not prosecute the governor of Akwa Ibom State? Why did they not prosecute him? They not prosecuted the professor. So you see that the impact of selective prosecution and political interference in Nigeria is it kills public trust. Nobody will trust the government again. Anything can happen any day. Anybody can come and attack this country and everybody will be like, yeah, it's bound to happen. Nobody trusts the government because anything can happen anyway. It protects powerful offenders, people that are in power, to protect them. Nobody is going to come and say, just because he's in power, they have to bring him down. They don't care. Nobody is going to open their mouth and talk. And then another thing is that it weakens the rule of law. That law that we have placed and said the rule of law is supreme. It ain't supreme anywhere. It's not supreme because we are seeing selective prosecution everywhere. There's political interference every now and then. There is no way for anything to work on in the country. So thank you. That's what I have to say. I want to.
All right.
For that.
All right. So, Mr. Brian, do you have any counters, any additions, any contestations? Where do you feel that there are loopholes in the arguments of Mrs. Victory, or additions that you probably be able to detail what she has said and obviously score more points in this debate? All right. So the floor is yours, Mr. Brian.
I don't think I have any much difference with what she has said in that regard. But of course, we know that the country, Nigeria, has a whole lot of loopholes. You know, of course, one would say if you can beat them, you join them. So in that context, nobody's going to say who cares? Why aren't you there? Why don't you have this? Why aren't you up there? Okay, we have this, so allow my son, allow my daughter to enjoy this. And then when you try to come after them, definitely they will defend themselves, and that's why they will say corruption will definitely fight back. So Miss Victory, so that's a very, very valid point. But of course, Nigeria is what it is, and if you can't beat them, definitely you just have to join them up until before we get there. Thank you.
All right, so thank you so much, Mr. Brian. So the final question goes to you, Mr. Brian, and of course, as before, Miss Victory, you will have a chance for a counter or additions, if you may. So, Mr. Brian, the question is: in what ways can public education and awareness campaigns help change attitudes towards corruption? So your time starts now.
How it can help change corruption, of course, if there's consistent public awareness, of course, raising public awareness about the negative impact of corruption in our society. This will help, in allowing that to sink in our head. Just like in my opening remark, I said, catch them young. If you go to our schools now, our primary schools, even as far back as when we're still in primary school. I can't really count how many times in our curriculum I had this anti-corruption chain mantra. You hardly hear it in schools these days. So having that, incorporated in our curriculums in primary schools would definitely go a long way, of which I made mention earlier, public awareness. So that's my point. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So, Miss Victory, if you have any additions, any counters, contestations, additions that could help you to gain more points in this debate, please, here is your time.
Okay, so I just have a few additions to make. Sorry, the last question you asked. Sorry, please, can you repeat that question?
Of course. So the question is, in what ways can public education and awareness campaigns help change attitudes towards corruption?
Okay. The first thing that helps to do, according to what Mr. Brian has said, he is very correct, is the school curriculum and community programs. This helps the kids, the young ones. According to him, he said, catch them young. And that is a very correct phrase. So it helps all of us to grow up knowing that this is the way the country is supposed to be. And whatever we are seeing now in the present isn't the way the country is supposed to. So everybody is aware of what is supposed to be in place. Another thing it does is to promote integrity, and it empowers the citizens to reject bribes. Although I will also say too that everybody in this country is nonchalant. Like, people don't actually care. People don't give a fuck what happens. Sorry, people don't give any, like, nobody's even, especially when it comes to situations whereby let's say, for instance, the elections that happen, that a lot of people are here to vote, a lot of people are here to give their own mandates and everything, and then the politicians, the ministers, those ones that are campaigning for this election, they end up convincing these people to vote for them. This is still another way of bribery and corruption, because once the head is decayed, the body will follow. So it should start first from the people at the top. Let there be proper removal of all those people that are not ready to be, strong in their honesty and their transparency, so that we know where our problem is coming from. Another thing is that it empowers the citizens to demand accountability. When we were even talking about the media, I was even waiting for Mr. Brian to say these media people, they should open their mouth and talk. Most of the media that we have today are owned by the politicians, the government. So what they do is to make the media talk, but not talk against them. Okay, so when they are in an interview, they are not criticizing exactly what's wrong that the government is doing. So I would say that the media people should open their mouth and talk. Nobody should hide. While they are also criticizing them, they should criticize them constructively. But also they should advocate for the people, because they are the ones that have the power. They will sit down there and start asking mind-blowing questions that even the most nonchalant Nigerian will sit up and be like, oh, this thing is true. Because everybody is hungry. Nobody has what to eat. So I think when all of these things are put in place, the level of bribery and corruption in the country will come down. Of course, I said Rome was not built in a day, but step by step, we can achieve everything. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So, Mr. Brian, do you have a comeback for that? Do you have any statements, any additions, whatever? Do you have anything to say as regards the remarks from Miss Victory?
Actually, I don't have any remarks. Thank you.
All right, so thank you so much. Thank you both for your participation. As you know, so once the video goes up, we're going to leave about 3 days before to allow the votes to come in, and after the votes, we'll count the votes, and then we'll be able to determine the victor of this debate. So thank you so much, and of course, it would be amiss if I fail to mention that this program is proudly sponsored by distresssales.net, and of course, without them, we wouldn't be here. So thank you so much for being present, and thank you so much for trusting our brand, and we'll be sure to get back to you as regards the winner and we'll say sadly the loser. All right, so thank you so much. Do have a lovely day, and of course you can say bye-bye to the audience before we end the session. Thank you. Do you have
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes, okay. All right. So thank you so much once again, and do have a lovely day. Hello and welcome to YKG contest. And today we're here with a victor of the last competition we had. We're just here to get a quick catch up on your experiences on the last debate. So we'd like to know what the experience was like, and if you have any other further statements you would like to let the audience know, and let us know.
Okay, so about the competition from YKG, I really enjoyed the competition. It was nice. It was educating. I got to hear about a lot of people's opinions from the comment section, and I also got to learn about my opponent's opinions. You know, everybody has their different opinions concerning different subject matters, and it's not like we're all wrong, but there are different opinions, of course, and they are really important. All right. I would like to thank YKG Content for the opportunity to voice my opinions on the subject matter. As everyone is, they have different opinions. We are different people with different opinions, but that doesn't mean that everybody is wrong, whatever opinion they bring forward. That's one thing I would like people to always note down. From the contest, my experience was really nice. I had a good experience listening to the opinions of my opponent, and from the comment section and everything that everybody has said in consent to the topic that we discussed in that contest. If there's any statement I have to say or anything I have left unsaid, is the situation of the country is not going to ease itself by itself. It needs the effort of everybody. That includes the efforts of the citizens of the country, the government. Everybody has to do something to make sure that the country is in a good situation. All hands should be on deck for the country to improve and to grow. And I didn't even talk about because we were discussing about budgets, okay, during that, and I forgot to mention that when budgets in the Nigerian system are passed down from the president, and the House of Assembly decides to take a look at the budget and see what is in it before it can be passed down. Okay, we noticed that at the end of the day, there is no recollection of activities.
Are there any room for improvements? What would you say? Do you have any opinions as regards how the program can move forward, or any additions you would feel that would be a good idea for the program?
I feel that
is perfect as it is, so you can just feel free to let us know what you think.
the program is nice. I really haven't come across such a program before. If I'm being very honest and sincere, so it's very nice for me. I don't see anything that should be fixed. Everything is okay and it's perfect. That includes the system where you judge the contestants fairly, and even the topic of discussion. That is very, very nice to discuss, a very good topic to discuss. So I don't really think that there's anything that should be changed. The program is awesome. It is nice, and the experience has been a wonderful one.
Okay, so I don't know if you are aware, we have a ranking system, and I think you being the first victor on the show, or the first ever show, I think that you still have that opportunity. So I don't know if you had took out the time to watch the program yourself. You would find that prior to the program itself, we had the display of ranks, and we have the Tribe of Judah rank, which if you're able to attain that is 100 wins in total without any losses. You were entitled to a total of 500,000 to 1 million, depending on how you perform. I don't know if you're aware of that. Do you still feel you would like to compete to be able to arrive at that point?
I'm aware. I saw the flyer.
So as regards the payment that was promised to you, did you or did you not receive the payment? And was that paid to you as
I received the payment.
Okay. And you received it at the time promised?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
As early as the time promised.
Okay, so another question I wanted to ask you: do you see yourself competing going forward? Would you like to participate in more debates, or would you say you just wanted to try it out and see what it was like? And do you see yourself moving forward with this?
Well, I just wanted to try it out. Sincerely, I just wanted to try it out because I'm at home right now. I just left school for the midterm breaks, and I'll soon be back at school. So if I was at school, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to come on the program. But now that I'm at home, I have the opportunity to come for the program. So I guess it was just a one-time thing, but I enjoyed the ride. And I'll be looking forward to other programs as well. When I get the chance, I can also participate. But for now, I'm preparing to go back to school and I might not have the chance or the time to attend more programs.
Okay, so thank you so much for taking out the time, because we had a bit of a challenge with the reception today. But thank you for being so patient, and of course, we hope to see you on the program again once more. But if that's not possible, but I think it was an honor to have you on the last program. So thank you so much. Do you have any final words for the audience?
Everybody, just be yourself. That's the final word I have for everybody. Just be yourself. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Miss Victory, and it was an honor having you. So we hope to see you again. But if that's not, all right. Take care. Have a lovely day. Bye.
Bye.